Everyone, we are back this week with the actual content that I was going to do last week. So first I want to start off with a lot has happened in the last couple days. Mainly major point is I'm talking about Syria. I'm not like a doomsday person or whatever you want to call it, but like I've said before, I have been studying. I hate that I can hear all the noise outside. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I have studied Revelation for quite some time, and with Revelation you have to read just the New Testament back and forth, comparing it. Isaiah 17, a lot of Isaiah, actually most of Isaiah, is really being put to the test recently, with what we're being told that the United States is going to do with Syria and Damascus. And I just have to say that just really quickly, because this kind of actually sets up for the message today, is read your Bibles, people. Not so much to predict what's going to happen next, but because we don't know when and where and what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. We've been given the map and the instructions and everything on what's going to be happening pretty soon. I mean, to me, it's already happening going forward, from what I've seen. He does say, of the hour and of the day and hour, nobody will know, but of the signs, you will, and the signs can hear. And like I said, Isaiah talks very heavily about Damascus and Syria, and pretty much what feels like is happening right now or getting ready to happen. As somebody who lives in the United States, it freaks me out a little bit, in an earthly tone. But what it mainly does is it tells me time is coming close. He's getting prepared. He's getting, he's getting everything in order, and we need to do the same. And so, like I said before, this week's message is going to be about relationships, and this may reflect a little more with women than it will with men, because I'm a woman. And hopefully I have been trained enough to bring the men in as well, and relate to them also in my metaphors and euphemisms that I'm going to use. Examples. Let's just say examples. Anyway, so with that, I, as a little girl, super little, tiny little girl, I don't know how long it was before I started realizing I am this hopeless romantic. I love, and I love everything about it. I thought I was going to be married at like 18 and just start the life. Not kids. That was never something that I personally wanted. Obviously, if it's in the cards, it's in the cards. But, my preference. But I went from relationship to relationship. They were long, but for the most part, they weren't like month long, they were long, years years. And I searched for a long time the wrong way. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about, because I know so many of you that do the same things that I did, worse or not as bad, but pretty close. And we set ourselves up to be perfect. We need to be perfect so that he is in our area, like he's in our range, that we could totally pull something of the same, let's say, number as we are, and even if they're up, they're up here and we're maybe right here, we're still going to try to make it happen. And sometimes when we feel we're here and they're down here, sometimes it doesn't really matter if we figured out some other solution for them. Some women like money, some women like body types, some women like face, some people need smarts, intelligence, sorry. Anyway, but one way or another, we make it work. We try to make it fit within what our, idea is of what we want for ourselves. Yeah, I've done that. I'm not gonna lie. Of course I've done that. But we take the steps of making it to where I want this. This is my list. All down, 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 down. And if you can get at least, 80% of it, then we can talk. I can fix the rest. Right? Okay. So for me, the problem I had for a really long time when I was super young, like I'm talking still in school, young, like little school, like high school, junior high, whatever. Yeah, junior high. I had this issue of, now, mind you, we didn't have money. I mean, we had like nothing. Grandma lived off Social Security. And, by the way, say hi to Grandma. And, we lived off Social Security and welfare because she was taking care of me by herself. And so, that's not a lot of money. But somehow, as a teenager, I seemed to find a way to make whatever money I had go to anybody that wasn't me. Not that I didn't find that I was good enough for anyone, but I like to make people happy. It's a huge problem of mine to make everybody feel like they just need to be happy, and whatever I can give them, I'm going to give them. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but in the way that I did it, you look back and you're like, this is ridiculous. What was I thinking? Well, I wasn't thinking, because this, you're a young teenager, so I was like 14, and you're, everything's going all crazy and you're figuring life out, your little teenage life that you think is so important. And I bought a lot of stuff for a lot of people. No, not a lot of people. Boys, and felt that I wanted to make them happy. And so, I didn't see anything wrong with it until you get to that end point, and then you start realizing that you're being used. It's not a good feeling. Even if you're past it and then you realize later, it's still, sucky. It doesn't feel good. Well, that was my issue. What I've seen from a lot of other people, which are not just women, I've seen it from men too, they tend to give themselves way too much. I'm not talking sexually. That's another issue. I'm talking just full on everything that they are. They drop their life to give to this person. And in turn, this person is either feeling like they're smothered, or they're taking what they're getting and they're just letting it be. Taking what they can get, taking what they can get, taking what they can get. Again, using that person for what they can give them. And the person that's giving just, they feel that they're in this relationship, and they think that they're getting everything that they need until something changes. It could be the other person met someone else. It could be the person wants more than what they're giving, or getting, I should say. And pow, bam, you're like, oh, okay. And then you're the one left stuck. Well, now what? Left hurt, left feeling like some people are completely heartbroken, depressed, you name it, you know. And then there are these people who, as a very good example, I was watching Catfish last night on MTV, and I don't know if anybody saw this episode last night, but it was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to reach out to you internet daters right now. I was one of them. I mean, not so much in the fact that that's what I was on the internet for, but I did meet some people from the internet in my lifetime, and two that I consider significant to my life. Other ones that were just kind of just in there, just kind of nuts, you know, or not. You wouldn't know that, but it, you know, whatever. It's just kind of in the play of all of everything. And I remember one time I met a friend, met up with a friend, and we just went driving somewhere, and it was night, and then all of a sudden we're down this like long curvy road, and he shuts the lights off and he just starts driving, and I'm freaked out. And obviously at that moment I learned my lesson. I by the grace of God, I got out of there and was okay, and it was a stupid decision I made, obviously. Anyway, there you go. Now, of course, you know, like I said, there were two significant relationships that I had through this process. Like I said, I didn't go on there trying to find anyone. It was mainly just I connected with somebody by just randomly being out there, and they were, you know, they became great friends. I don't talk to one of them anymore, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. But last night on the show Catfish, there was this man who was with they had a baby's mom and two kids that he lived with that hadn't been getting along, and whatever the case is, and he met this woman online and totally fell in love with her. She kept telling him that she was in this controlling relationship. She couldn't do anything, it was all nutso, whatever, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So, you know, they go and they do their little thing where they go meet with each other. And when the person gets there, it's this guy who is crazy. He comes in just full on, and he's talking like he's the internet police for cheaters. And he made up this fake profile, and he made up this fake profile and talked to a couple people. But when he found this guy, I think his name was Artis, and he found out that he had kids. He found kids, and he found out that he had kids, and the mother of his children, he was living with them, and they were in a relationship, but they didn't know if they were, what was going on. Anyway, basically, he felt that he was cheating on his baby's mama, and felt that he needed to confront him finally. And he came on with this animalistic, just vicious. It was awful. I felt so bad for the guy. But in the meantime, before this all happened, Artis totally fell in love with the girl that he was speaking with. Never met her, never had, only conversations with her. With a person that he had no idea about. He had no clue what was going on. And, the fallout from all of it was this random, crazy lunatic. Forgive me. That's probably not the right words to say, but the man was not, he needed Jesus for sure. He was just really off. He kept saying that he didn't like himself. He didn't care about himself. If he doesn't like himself, why is anybody else going to like him? And so on and so forth. I mean, the man had significant issues that he definitely needed to deal with. And my point to this is that, we go through life waiting for that right person. We just want to have We want that fairy tale love. As women, a lot of you who are very good friends of mine, and others out there, we wait for Prince Charming. That's what, these little Disney cartoons, they really mess us up, because that's all we want now. We want Prince Charming and whatever other princes their names are, and, come sweep us off our feet, chivalry, take care of us and love us and give us all that we need, and so on and so on. I myself am very self-sufficient. I have an issue with controlling everything that I need to do, not the person, but like whatever is going on in my life, and not that doesn't include them. I just mean like your everyday things, bills, and all that stuff, finances and whatever. I'm not that girl. I guess I'm a woman now. I keep forgetting how old I am. Anyway, point being is that we look for something within this spectrum. If it's not all of it, it's pretty good, like I said before, like 80-90% of it. And we're out there looking for something that we are expecting to get because it's what we want to give. And I'm talking to the women who give everything. They give all of themselves. They give their money. They give their heart. They give their, whatever, their passion, their compassion, their sympathy, everything. They give everything wholeheartedly over to someone without getting anything in return, expecting to get that back. We are all human beings, and we are not perfect. Obviously, I mean, we all have our own issues of some sort. I could do everything in the world in my power to give to someone, but there's always going to be something missing because I'm not perfect. I can't do everything, and I can't do everything, and neither can you, neither can they. But we think otherwise, and I think that many of us have gone through many relationships, obviously, feeling like this. And we end up just kind of sitting around like, what's next? Now what? I mean, I've done this and I've done that, that they're not doing any of this for me. I feel used, or I feel taken advantage of. I feel depressed. I feel alone. I feel like I'm not good enough all the time. We all know that one comes up. Even if we know that that's not the truth for ourselves, that we are good enough for anyone, we still don't feel like it. And then, it starts to eat at us. It starts to eat away, and it starts to just tear your life apart. A lot of marriages, I'm not married, but we can all understand the point of a marriage. It's to love each other for the rest of your lives, to be with that person forever. And in our country, what is it, 50% of marriages end in divorce or whatever it is? That's a huge number. I mean, for something that is supposed to be so important and so valuable to life in general, to have somebody to love you the rest of your life. And like I said, the problem being is that we go into it with all of these expectations, always thinking that they need to live up to this. And what I used to tell my friends all the time is that they don't have to do anything but love you and be supportive of you, trust, not lie to you. Those are the only things that they're supposed to do. They aren't supposed to wake you up every morning with breakfast in bed. They're not supposed to come, to your every beck and call, every hour you call, any time of the day. We have lives. We all have separate lives outside of what our core, our core is. And so many times this is something that, becomes a very, very large issue. And I mean, I did it. for sure. I mean, obviously, as human beings, we should love each other. As Christians, you better love each other. I mean, it's difficult. I know. For myself, I'm still, that's one thing that is still a little bit of an issue with me. I'm trying very hard. But, we are all supposed to, at least, at the very, very least, respect everyone, show them respect. I'm not saying like treat them, like they're God, because that's not what we do. But just show them common courtesy is the best thing you can do for any other person that you come in contact with. A loved one, a friend, your family, a stranger on the street, somebody that looks, not necessarily, well kept. Just show a little bit of compassion. And that's the basis of your relationship. Should be respect and love. Pretty simple, with respect, I mean trust and courtesy, all of those things, they fall under respect. And that's basically what you need to do as human beings to make the world go round in a positive manner. And a lot of people don't have that anymore. Obviously, we all saw or heard about I'm not even going to say her name because I don't want to bring more attention to her, but this daughter of a country singer who was on the MTV Music Awards. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go ask your neighbor. I bet you they know. Anyway, and I'm not judging, okay, this is not what I'm doing, but I am going to say that you watch what was this debacle that was on television, and you see that she looks like there was some sort of ecstasy. I don't know. That's may not even be true. But point is something was not right on the television when you are stripped down to nothing practically, and you're just making a complete fool out of yourself in front of millions of people. I mean, what kind of a respect do you have for yourself? And in that same moment, if you don't have that respect for yourself, how is anybody else going to have that respect for you? And that's something, I think a lot of us have to look at ourselves and take issue with. I'm not saying that, we're out doing some weird things on television or in front of other people, but we all have our own type of issues that we're going through, and things that we need to really work out with ourselves so that we can see what our inner self feels like. Because I know me, I can acknowledge it. Acknowledging it is not the problem. I tend to move on, so that it's just put away and I don't have to think about it, and it just passes. That's used to be my normal way of doing things, and that never worked for me. So luckily I was able to recognize it and see what my issues are and try to build upon it, fix it, and make sure that what I'm looking at in my life is the way I want other people to see it, not just for myself. As a woman of God, I am His church. I am what walks out, among other people here on YouTube, or I'm sorry, Ustream and YouTube, with all of you, trying to show the path that that God has given us, to show the compassion and the love that that He gave for us, that He suffered for, just for us. And I'm not saying that everybody is going to be that way. It would be nice, but for me, that's what I needed to do. And before, my life was awful. I mean, I had a job, I had a good job. I still have a good job. It's not that, but I mean, I have a good job. I got somewhere to live. I've got a car. And, life's going okay. It's just kind of going on, but it's okay. I'm in a relationship, or whatever you would call it. I mean, for lack of a better word. And I don't know, it is what it is. And I'm over here trying to fix what I've got to fix, and, make sure that I can do what I can do, and make this into what it used to be. And, this is what I was doing. And it's what a lot of us do. It's what a lot of us have going on. And in that moment, I realized, oh, man, I'm sitting here looking for this person, or even life for that matter, to give me love that I deserve. Never back down from that. You all deserve love of multitude amounts. I deserve respect, which I wasn't getting. I deserve to be comfortable. I deserve to be respected. I deserve to be in a moment in life where, where you're just happy. True happiness, unconditional love. And, your mom and dad love you, and your family, because they have to, we've all been there. That's not what I was looking for. I came from a family that was very, it's interesting because I see us a certain way, and I know other people see us a certain way that knew us or know us. But just in a whole, the whole big picture is I was looking just for any kind of love. And I don't think I realized that until that moment. I'm searching for a love I didn't get from parents other than grandma. And, in this make-believe love, world out there, trying to find it wherever I could. Now let me explain, let me clarify. I was not a hoe, which I don't know if that's the right word to use for this type of thing, but you guys get what I'm saying. I was not out there sleeping around. That's probably a better way to say it. It wasn't even that. I was looking for real, connection, mind, just personalities, and trying to find somebody that was comforting. And every single time I thought I had. Of course I did. Of course. Because it's the beginning. It's the beginning. It's always great in the beginning, right? With anybody you meet, friend, family, so on and so forth. And, we just tend to become comfortable with that. We begin to become comfortable with the fact that the comfortability that we're looking for, we're settling with what we get. And, God never intended that for us. He made man, and man needed a partner, so he made us. Women, man, women, you get what I mean. To be their partner. And it's an awful feeling to feel alone. For as long as I can remember, that's how I felt. Aside from grandma, my eye is really lazy, and I'm not even tired. Sorry. Aside from grandma, I didn't really have anything other than her. And I think that I looked for it everywhere I could. I tried to make a relationship with my mother multiple times, and it just didn't work. And, I was able, actually, let me backtrack. I was able to make relationships with friends' parents who did fill that void as far as, a mother goes. But the problem is that it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. You watch all these things, these Disney cartoons and these movies, and you're like, I just want to be in love and live happily ever after. after. And that doesn't happen that way. It's funny because actually in the beginning of a relationship, it totally feels that way. Twice I made that that connection with relationships that I was in, and it never ended up like happily ever after. And one day I sat down, and I don't know, I was sitting in a dark room. It was after I had given everything over. It was in the midst of the transition, I think. Because once you give everything over to God, once you call out for Him and you surrender everything, life changes like that. It is I can't even explain with good detail on how unbelievable the change is. In the midst of it, you are realizing so many different things. You have such a different view of life when you don't have all this stress sitting on your shoulders, and something I know that we all crave, because who wants to stress out all the time? I know I don't, because I stressed out for too many years. And the problem was, prior to, is that, like I said before, I'm looking for this unconditional love in a place that I was never going to find it. I'm looking for a love that only He can give. And I didn't know that. I mean, look, we all read this, right? We all read it. Once in a while, we've heard, the stories that are in it. We all know about David and Goliath, and we know about Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. And, we know that Jesus died on a cross, and, you get the basics and you think you know. Or some of us tend to know a little more and think we know it all. And as I've said many times before, that was not the case, and it never is the case. And I specifically I was sitting in a dark room, stressed out over this relationship I was in, and not understanding what I did wrong. I've done everything I can for someone, and it's like, well, now what? Why am I not good enough to bring out, what we had, or what, I know we felt we had in the beginning? Bring it out now. Like, what is it about me that I can't do that? What's not good enough about me? And I just dropped everything. Everything just one day became very, very clear to me. And I am seeking a relationship that only He can give me. No man on this earth, no woman on this earth can give you what Jesus gives you, what Jesus gave all of us. We have been given the greatest gift anybody could ever be given. And I think we take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, we know the stories, and we've heard, we've seen the movies, and we've heard the songs, and, we hear about this, that, and the other here and there. And we're kind of left for dead. Literally. I know that for me, Grandma was all I had. She was the moon and the stars. She was anything that I could ever want. That's what it was. She gave it to me. No matter how hard it was for her, no matter, my teenage years, my, growing up, and made terrible 2s, except I was told that I was not terrible as a 2-year-old or at all. So, but that's, I mean, hey, but I'm not kidding. I was actually told I was a pretty good baby. But, we all want something. And she gave me as much as she could, but I knew I needed more. And I was not getting it from the people I was shelling out money to, that I was giving my heart over to. Why am I giving my heart to somebody who isn't handling it with all the care in the world and not giving it to the one who created it? I don't even know how I felt that was ever logical. Actually, because you guys, you know, when you fall in love, that's it. That's all you know. Your friends are gone. Your life is totally thrown upside down, and it's all about what you have now. It's all about this relationship and being in love and having just the fairy tale life, because that's what it is. It's a fairy tale. It doesn't exist. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that there are not good men and women out there. Obviously, God created us to be that way. But my point is that you can't find that true unconditional love that you're looking for in an earthly sense until you found His. Because until you find His, you don't even know what unconditional love is. You think that you are giving all true and unconditional love, and you're not. You're giving like half. You're half full, maybe half empty, actually, in that sense, because you don't even know what unconditional love is, because you've never searched out for it, not in the way that He's told you to. And I want to just touch on the point that this whole thing is trying to make. We're not done by any means, but Grandma used to tell me, she used to say, if you're so bored, why don't you go talk to Jesus? Because I'm a teenager and I want something to do that's entertaining, that's why. Or you'd always hear this, I don't know if it was her that told it to me or if it was something I read once, and it was, as a teenager, you always want to be on the phone. As an adult, I hate talking on the phone. But as a teenager, I was on the phone was glued to my ear. I would sit on the phone and I would paint my phone with nail polish while I was on the phone, because they weren't wireless then. I mean, we had cordless phones, but even then, you're sitting there coloring the base. I was doing all kinds of stuff. But I needed to be on the phone. Even if I had nothing to say, I felt I needed to be on the phone with somebody, talking to whoever. I'd go out and talk to Grandma for a little while, and then I would get bored. Not with her, just the fact that I wanted to talk to someone else. And I read this thing once. It said, when you feel the urge to talk to somebody and there's nobody to talk to, it's Jesus telling you to talk to Him. And let me tell you, my mind was just blown away, because I don't think I ever put that together before. But remembering back to Grandma saying, why don't you go talk to Jesus? Now, I know most parents would say, if you're bored, I'll give you something to do, and then they give you some sort of chore. Nope, not Grandma. No, Grandma made sure that me and Him were squared away, one way or another. Whether I listened to her or not, it didn't matter, because as long as she kept putting it out there, not forcing it on me, but kept putting it out there, she knew I'd catch on eventually. Somehow I would catch on. You plant the seed and He will water it. And boy, did He. And so, I specifically, I know a lot of other people have many different encounters on how they've come to Christ, and what their legacy is going to be, or how they're going to how they're going to use it, or how they're going to just prepare their life. And it's been really interesting because since I have realized that this love that I have felt for, I don't know, ages now, it feels like I have never not known this love. I have been in a way that has been just overwhelming. I have had such an amazing change in life when I surrendered everything, when I gave everything over. It was just the beginning. I'm crawled up in a ball in the corner of the room, totally blacked out, dark as can be, screaming practically. Maybe I wasn't, it felt like I was though, just crying everything out, telling him, Lord, take me, let the rapture come. I'm ready to go. Get me out of here. I can't take it anymore. I can't stand it. Mind you, I'm like 26. Okay? All right. Yeah. And I thought everything I was going through was not enough. Or it was too much. It was too much. Which it was. Because I will be very honest, in my short 30 years on this earth, I've had so many things trouble me. I've had a lot of life issues that, shouldn't happen to people. And, that we think of, why do good things happen to bad people? And one night, after this had happened, I am just sitting there, just trying to figure everything out. Because even though everything had been taken off of me, the weight had been taken off, you still have to figure out how to move on with life. And although you give everything over to him, as a human, your mind just kind of wanders. It goes, and it goes from here to here to here. And I'm one of those people that when I'm trying to fall asleep, think of one thing, and then it goes to this, then it goes to that, and it goes to that, and so on, and then I'm up for the rest of the night. Time to go to work. But my grandma told me, if you're ever looking for an answer and you don't know it, if you're looking for something to comfort you, if you're looking for something, take your handy dandy little Bible and you open it to a random section, wherever it is, wherever your fingers open, and just start reading, and he's going to give you the answer that you're looking for. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And I was sitting in my room, sitting on my bed, trying to figure life out, trying to figure out why these good things or why these bad things are happening to me. I'm doing everything I can. I'm following Grandma's, instructions, and I'm learning everything she's teaching me. And I'm, I know you, and I know that, this is us. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm trying so hard to understand. And I opened up to, and I always forget the verse. I think it's Job 33. I always forget it. Job 33 something. And it's basically saying, I have sent you this suffering to keep you from turning to a life of evil. And that was it. Everything in that moment that I had been feeling, that was my answer. And although I've always known, the things that we go through have a reason, they have a purpose, whether God sent them or, they came from other means, he's always going to make it a purpose. The storm comes and he's going to take the winds to set you sail on a path that he's created for you. It's just the way it is. And I thank God so much that I have been taught enough to believe that, because had I not, I could be really addicted to drugs. I could be walking the streets for multiple reasons. I could be homeless. I could be, I could just be just a depressed mess of a life. Had I not taken this into consideration, everything that she's told me, and given it a purpose, give myself a purpose. And we're all sitting here for one thing or another. I'm not exactly sure what mine is yet. It's starting to come to me little by little. One is to tell our story. She made that very clear. But the whole idea of it was, for me anyway, is that I look beyond what my circumstances are. There's always something going on. There's always going to be awful things happening. And for me, the only way I find that answer is in my Bible. I have had, I've grown up with all kinds of different people. We all do. But living in a small town for so long, you find out how diverse such a little town can be. And be it they started diverse or through the years have become that way, a lot of people in my life feel very differently in ways that I do. In meeting new people that I've made great connections with. And as someone who has found this relationship, who's found her Prince Charming, it's hard to keep that to yourself. I scream it from the rooftops. Literally. I haven't been on a rooftop, but actually, it was the other day. I should have. But you see where I'm going with it, right? I have never been the type of person that when they're in a relationship, it's all they talk about. Because I can't stand that person. Or I used to not be able to stand that person. I don't like to be the person that, shoves their friends out of their life because some new guy is in the picture. That's never been me. And that is still not me. But I am that person that is so excited about the love that's in my life now that I can't hold it back. And if my friends and family and viewers and whoever doesn't like it, I don't really care. And I say that in the most loving way possible. I have found that we are not meant to be quiet about it, for one. They, the society, they make us, they categorize us as a religion, Christians, because it falls under whatever the definition is. I know we know the definition, but you see what I mean. But the problem is because just because we are a spiritual organization, again, quote unquote, it links us under this. And a lot of religions are about, I hear a lot of people, saying it's about the rules, and you've got to follow this, and you have to follow this. It's almost not even about what people believe in so much. It's just about following the rules of the belief. And because nobody cares to give us any sort of, glance or look into us, research us at all in an actual way where you come into it with your mind open, because they always tell you to keep an open mind. But when it comes to Christianity, nobody does that. Nobody looking into it. They feel that that's only reserved for the other stuff. I don't even know, just whatever else, whatever. Anyway, whatever, you get what I mean. And they see us as we're against everything. I am for love. Love it because I know it now. I never knew it before. Never knew it before. And before, I was super cynical about it because even if I was happy in a relationship, it was still just, I don't like the PDA, and I don't like, I don't want to see this, and I don't want to see that, and I don't want to hear about this, and I don't want to hear about that. I just want to be like, just keep me out of it. I was not that kind of person. I mean, I was that person. And now, you come talk to me for 5 minutes, and I'm probably going to mention it at least one time. At least once. I mean, depending on what we're talking about. But it's interesting because I see many Christians who come into the faith and that have not followed it as long as I have, or that didn't grow up in it, or whatever the case is, and they dive in without understanding the relationship of what it is. And of course we have rules. We follow the same rules Catholics have. We follow the same rules that well, I guess whatever, that's the closest one. Anyway, you know what I mean. We follow the 10 Commandments, and we have just everything that the Bible tells us to follow. That's our duty. Yeah, we are supposed to follow it. The difference being is that we know we're going to make mistakes, and it's hard to follow those things in a world like this, for sure. And we are not perfect. We were born sinners. Not to say that, when you're baptized, or when you've given your life over, that you are not going to fall. No, you're going to fall. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been, well, I shouldn't say it's happened to me yet, but it sort of did prior to the baptism, though. And you get into this, you get into a frame of mind that tells you, okay, well, I know the rules, and I have to do my best to follow them. I have to do my best. We are not perfect. And I knew that. I knew the moment he looked at me and he told me, and he put his arms around me and told me I was his, that he loved me unconditionally, that I could feel it right here, that no matter what, he knew my heart, and he knows I'm gonna mess up, albeit how hard I try not to. He knows it's gonna happen, but he knows I'm coming back to him. Now, this obviously doesn't mean that you are going to, that you're going to, forgiveness is not something, it's not a free ticket that a lot of people try to put on us. It's not something that you can go in and say, well, you forgave me of that, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again because I know you're going to forgive me. That's not in here. That's right here. And he knows what's right here. He already knows that you're already feeling that you already feel like you can go ahead and take that moment to go ahead and use him. And if you think that he doesn't know that you're using him, then again, you don't know him. And, we as Christians, we make a vow. We make a vow for better or worse, through sickness and through health, until death do us part. We make the same vows. We don't say the words, but our heart has already made that vow. And when we accept that, he's there with his arms open, waiting. And I have had many conversations with many people. If you are a friend on Facebook, or you're following the Devotional Facebook page, then you've seen me recently come on and say, you cannot say that you believe in God if you don't follow him. You can believe there is a God, because yeah, of course, I mean, what else created all of these things in such intricate ways? But you don't get to believe in God and not believe in anything else that he gave you. I, as a teenager, growing up in this, we're gonna go a little late tonight, because I thought I wasn't even gonna have enough to go till 8, but apparently I do, and I'm going past it. So as a teenager, I felt I knew everything, because Grandma taught me. I knew it all. I knew I was ready to go. I knew that whenever time came, I was ready. Day or hour, I don't know, it'll be in the blink of an eye. I'm good. But I didn't go to church. And I didn't read the Bible. I mean, I read it once in a while, here and there. Grandma taught me. She was my church. Homeschooling it. But Grandma knew Jesus. I didn't know him. And I went through my life in all these bad relationships, friends, boyfriends, whatever, family, assuming, because I knew him, that everything would be the way it would be. That he would give me love, that he would give me everything I needed in front of me, everything I asked for, I'd get it. And the whole time I'm expecting this stuff based upon what I've heard. How am I going to go into something that I don't know anything about? I mean, I hear my grandma tell me, the stories of the Bible. I read the little books as a kid, had them read to me. I watched the little movies that they had, little Christian ministries and the different videos, and I listened to the children's songs, and we sang them, and we had a good time, But I never knew him until I picked this up. And I just want to say very, very clearly that, I mean, the man on the cross, the thief on the cross, did not read the Bible. I'm guessing. Maybe he did actually. Hold on. Old Testament, I'm thinking. Anyway, but he didn't have a relationship with Jesus prior to being on that cross. And he wasn't baptized. And Jesus still told him that he would be with him in paradise, simply because the man acknowledged who he was. You can't acknowledge who he is without knowing him. And the only way you're going to know him intimately is through the testimonials, to know what he did. You can sit down and watch Passion of the Christ all day long. You can get a sense of the torture that he took, sure. But that is not the whole story. I think what we've done as a society, and trying to bring Jesus in, with the Bible series, The Bible series is actually a good example of taking it in a different step. But these different movies that have come out, Passion of the Christ is the main example I want to give, because it's an amazing movie, of course. It shares the true story of Jesus up until the resurrection. It doesn't say anything after that. It doesn't go into Acts, and it doesn't go into Paul's ministry. And that ministry is like 80% of the New Testament. I mean, I'm throwing numbers out there, but you get what I mean. It's a huge part of what we need to know. And for those of you who don't know, Paul was against Jesus. He was against anyone who spoke his name. He was on a tirade through the towns, trying to kill anyone who spoke of his name and his teachings and who he was. And we all know, I was blind and now I see. Everybody knows Amazing Grace. Do you know where it comes from? Do you? You don't know. Some do. But if you don't know, pick up your Bible. It's in there. It's in the New Testament. It has to do with Paul, if you didn't catch that. And I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to tell you. I want you guys. I am here to give my testimony. I am here to give you what... I'm here to give you our story. I'm here to show you what he's doing in my life and how he's doing it and how I'm getting there and where I'm going with it. To show you the love that he's giving. To show you that the love he gives me, he gives to everyone. Anyone who comes, anyone who calls, it's there for him. Your love that you're waiting for, that relationship that you're just dying to have, that right woman that you're looking for, that man that is just Prince Charming's waiting around the corner, you're only going to find it there. And right now in this world, and like I said before, I'm not a doomsday prepper. That's not what it's about. I am someone who has taken an extreme interest in knowing where I'm going. I don't care so much about what heaven's going to be like, because I know it's going to be amazing. I know that if Grandma waited 90 years to get there, I know it's got to be good. I know that everything that he's promised us is just waiting. And the thought of it just makes my heart smile. But it's not just that. I already know that. I have, this amazing idea of what it's going to be like, and I know it's going to be 1,000 times better than that. I want to know how I get there. I mean, I'm on my way, I hope. No, I'm on my way. And this life, that's all it is. This life is my road to heaven. This life is your road to heaven. This life is your road to being with the greatest gift that has ever been given to us. And it does. It touches me. It makes me really it makes me warm. I don't know how nobody can want that feeling for themselves. Sorry. Anyway, I would encourage you to pick up your love letter, because that's what you're looking for. You know, as girls, we get all mushy over those little letters. There are thousands of pages. No, not thousands. My bad. There's almost 2,000 pages. Maybe some books, maybe some Bibles, depending on their font, you know. Anyway, of love letters that you're looking for. Right here. It's your map. It's your guide. It's your love letter. It's every word you've ever wanted to hear in one book. And I can't tell you that every single time that you're going to, you know, open up and understand right away why you're reading that. But eventually, you're going to know. Eventually, you are going to see what he's leaving for you and why he's left it. Because this pertains to every single one of us. I don't care if you're in Zimbabwe, in the smallest corner of the earth, if you're up in your high rise, if you're just hanging out in your living room, or you're at the park, or doing whatever you want to do in your life. This means something to you. This has so much more meaning to your life than you know. And just ask yourself, seriously, do me a favor. Tell yourself you got nothing going on in life. I mean, you know, obviously we all got stuff going on. But in life, what is so important to you that you can't take 5 minutes? 5 minutes a day. Open it up, see what you like. And eventually, it's going to stick to you in ways that you'll never imagine. A friend of mine told me the other day that she started reading, I think she started reading from Genesis. Not everybody starts at the beginning. Some people start in the New Testament and go backwards. Some do, some go with like a daily reading. Some do devotionals and whatnot. I recommend doing one verse of the Old Testament with one verse of the New Testament. It's quite enlightening when you read, when you read them together. It's something that it's something that you, sorry, I had to type something really quick. Something that you have such more of an understanding when you do it that way, because everything in the Old Testament correlates to the New Testament. Every prophecy that's in the Old Testament has been answered in the New Testament, whether it's actually happened or not. Most so far, up until the last days, they've been fulfilled. You don't believe me? Look it up in some history books, because this book is going to tell you everything you need to know. And if you don't trust it, pick up a history book. It will tell you. But the major point I want to make is that we here are mere, just souls on earth trying to make their way home. And that's Joan Osborne reference, if you don't know. Partially. But again, I don't know any other way to make it more evident that the change that's happened in my life has been beyond what I could have ever asked for. when Grandma passed away, times were a little rough. Even though I was having a hard time, still having a hard time, getting those emotions out, I could feel my body breaking down from it. I could feel it just wasn't right. Nothing was right. And I never gave up my faith, but I did question it. And I'm not telling you that you're never going to question it. But I will tell you that when you question him, don't do it in a way where you're just, that's it. Wait for him to answer, because he will. He'll always answer. You want to know something, he'll give you an answer. Might not be right away, and it might not be as clear as day to you, but when he answers, you're going to know it. And she and I thought the rapture was coming, and I thought, she's lived so long. How could he not leave that for us? I literally thought I was going to be like one of the only people in the world that didn't have to have their, like, best person in their life die. Thought I was never going to have to experience that. And then it came, and it wasn't just me that felt this. My uncle, our family, because she's taught us all, and it didn't work out that way. Not in the way we thought. As I told my uncle, who is, he has mental disabilities. I mean, they're not bad, but it takes him a little bit to wrap his mind around some things. It's short-term memory that he has, but it's affected other things. But I basically, said to him, we don't know what the rapture is going to be like. We have an idea, because our Bible tells us so. But it's not all together. I don't know. Now, don't quote me, because I don't know. This is me trying to make him feel better. But maybe that was her rapture. And everything happens for a reason. And I knew that. She told me, don't cry. He has a reason. He has a plan. And I think slowly I'm starting to see it. I think that with her here, whatever my plan was not going to be able to work without her. I mean, up there. I can see now that that happening needed to, in order for everything else to move forward. And she needed to go home. It was time for her to go home. And as hard as it is not having her with me, as hard as it is not being able to call her on my way home from work, which I tried to do today, I understand. And I could only understand with his grace. Because of him, because of her devotion to him, to teach me, to teach us, now that I can teach others what she's taught me, that he's taught her through this. A book with just papers, with words that a lot of people don't understand until you sit down and you devote yourself to this. I wouldn't be able to get through this extremely awful time. And I just 4 months went by on Saturday. Yeah. Maybe it was Sunday, 25th. And I I don't know, the day kind of went by, the day went by, and um, I just felt odd about the day. I felt like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know. I really didn't have anything going with it. I just felt different. But that weekend, I spent the most amazing time with my family, who was extended. And in that time during that time, spending it with them, was this Barb's grandma, who is 98. I'm going to be very honest. When everything happened, and I knew of people who had grandparents or relatives that were older than grandma still living, I felt like it's not fair. It really did. And it was awful to feel that way. I don't, I guess maybe it's just one of those things that some people go through. I don't know. But as she walked over to me, and I watched her move, and I watched her talk, and I watched her joke around, and her comments that she made, it was grandma all day long. And I felt awful, because I think I was staring at her so much that I kept thinking, God, man, I hope she doesn't notice me staring at her, because I wasn't trying to stare at her. But she was there. She was sitting with me. She was joking, and we were playing cards like grandma and I. It was everything that I needed. And then getting ready to leave, I got to give her a hug goodbye, and I could feel her arms around me, and it was amazing. I've prayed for months, to be able to just give me a visit, like not in a dream. I don't know if, I don't know if it's an option, but let her come down and visit for a minute. Let me have just a couple more minutes. I'm sure we've all felt that way. And she literally expecting my prayer, hopefully, to be answered in the way I've asked it. And then kind of sits over there. Looks nothing like my grandma as far as her facial features are, and her hair or anything. But it was her. It was her. And like I said, not in the way I asked for it, not in the way that I wanted to be, didn't matter. Really doesn't matter, because everything I needed, everything I wanted happened in that moment that I never expected. And there's a lot happening where, I never expected my life to go. I've wanted so many things in life. Growing up as a child and teenager, you tend to make huge ideas in your head about what you're going to have and how things are going to go and whatever. None of them have happened that way at all, not even close. Like I said, I thought I was going to be married at 18. What do I know? But it's happened in His way. And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to make this change because they think that their life is going to change. It's going to be boring. It's going to be like, who wants to live like that? Who wants to have a life that doesn't, where you can't get drunk and, cuss and all this stuff? I mean, listen. Again, well, I don't do that stuff, but stuff that I did before. Not everything has changed. I have just been able to open up my life to the feeling of actual love, and it's changed my perspective on everything. I know some friends don't understand, and that's okay. It's, I understand that because I didn't understand. But all I can say is that, what is it going to hurt you? What is so great in your life right now that you think letting him in is going to change? That you think is going to ruin anything. Think about what he gave for you. He gave away his flesh. He bled out for you. You, the one who could care less about what he did for you. He still did it for you. The person who refuses to pick up a Bible just because they're afraid of what it might say about their life, because they're afraid to face their life. Or the person who's afraid to pick it up because I don't even know why. I honestly can't understand what anyone thinks reading this is going to hurt in their life. But whoever you are that doesn't go to church because it's not in your schedule, or you think that church is boring or it's awful, you're going to be judged, or all these different reasons you have for not going. He did all of that for you. For you. For the person who believes in him but doesn't believe in anything that he left for you. He did it for you. For the person who thinks that it's great and all, it's a cool story, but I think I'm going to stick to some other things over here. He still died for you. He still suffered for you. He still rose again for you. And I think that once you're able to understand that no matter how awful you think you are compared to who he is, once you realize that no matter what you think of yourself, he still did it for you because that's how much he loves you, maybe things will start to change. What's it gonna hurt, right? I'm just saying, for those of you who think that he doesn't exist, or that he does but he doesn't answer prayer, or that he's out there, deists, as I learned recently, that believe of a God and believe that Jesus was, here, because he actually was here, but don't necessarily feel like all of this is true. What's it going to hurt you to try? What's it going to hurt to open up yourself to say, hey, I'm going to put a little bit of faith out there. I'm going to see what this is all about. I'm going to put a little bit of trust out there and see what I get from it. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing? Well, you're already there, right? Right? You've already got nothing going on. Stuff's already bad. So how much worse can it get if nothing happens? Listen. I feel like I am not someone to push anything on anyone. Seriously. That's not how I would want it done to me. And I wouldn't want that done to anyone else. But I am going to tell you. You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. You don't like the answer, I'm not going to tell you a lie. It's just not the way it works. But what I will tell you is that any questions that you have, you come to me. Go to your pastor. Go to somebody who knows the answer. If you're too afraid to talk to someone, look for it. Just open it up and start reading. I can't tell you what it was like for me to be able to know that one little trick. Just that one alone. Knowing that I don't know where my life is going. I don't know how I'm going to get through, this next hurdle that I've got going on. I don't know how am I going to deal with grandma being gone? How am I going to deal with my best friend not here anymore? How am I going to deal with knowing that I can't pick up the phone and call her every day? Sometimes I'd call her multiple times a day if I was having a really bad day or if I was having a really good day. I don't get that anymore. What am I going to do? She told me what to do. And every time I need it, any answer I need, anytime I open it up, it's there. And it's amazing to know that. Just so everyone knows, really quickly, the video is being finished as we're streaming, so that's why this is dragging on a little longer. Well, one reason. The rest of the reason is because I apparently have way more to say than I thought I did, and I want it said. I want everyone to understand that for me, my life has been, in so many ways, it's been turned upside down. It's been heavily blessed. It's been, I've had moments where I was at rock bottom more times than I think I realized. But he pulled me out every single time, even before I surrendered everything and gave it all over. Even before, because he knew. He knows. There was a time recently where right before, it's about a month or so before, maybe 2 months, I don't know, before the baptism, where I was at the movies with a friend. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want her as an accomplice, but where I went to the movies with her and we were hungry. And so I went in to the concession stand to get food. And the way it's set up, and I don't know, maybe I've told this story before, but just this all goes together, so I might as well just say it. I went to the concession stand, and it's like this. There's an aisle and an aisle, and the register is way over here, right? Blocked off by the height of everything. And I'm little. I'm 5'2". I'm super small. So I kind of hide under everything, not on purpose. I'm short. And, just me. It was just me. I'm getting popcorn. I don't know if I got nachos. I don't remember, but I got a hot dog. Oh yeah. And it was 2 sodas. That's right. I'm looking around. Nobody sees me. I don't see the lady to pay. And so I just walked off. I took it. I did. I did. And I'm not proud of it. And the reason I'm telling you this is because while the really cheap person in me will say was like, yes, free food. Like, I mean, come on, who's not really? It was there. It's their fault. Maybe they shouldn't have it set up that way. Maybe it shouldn't be just so easy for me to take it. Now, of course, I know that wasn't right, but as I'm walking away, and nobody is seeing me, nobody is saying anything to me, I'm like, well, all right. And I could hear my grandma. I could hear her. Melody, go back. Go back. Take that back and you go pay for it right now. Go pay for it. I could hear her just so clear. And I was at the point of no return. I was not going back. And I went back in and I sat down and we ate the food. And we went to go see White House Down, which was a cool movie. It was so good. But the whole time, I'm not sitting there watching Channing Tatum in his, beautifulness that he is. No, I was sitting there thinking, this is so awful. I can't believe I just did that. I know better. What was I doing? What was I thinking? Why didn't I just pay for it? And instantaneously, Lord, please forgive me. I really didn't mean to do that. I know it was wrong. It doesn't matter how it was set up there. I should have just not done it. It's temptation. It's not a sin to tempt. It's a sin to be the temptation person who takes it. That's not the right wording, but you know what I mean. And I knew that. And I felt awful afterwards, believe it or not. I felt absolutely just awful. And I just felt like, wow. I've sinned before. Because technically that was stealing. I've sinned before, and yeah, I think about it like, oh man, shouldn't have done that. Lord, forgive me. I even got into a habit of if I said something wrong, like accidentally, I would say, Lord, forgive me if I said something I shouldn't have said. It's automatic now. Even now, it's still automatic. But there's nothing behind it before. I mean, there was, I guess, a little bit, but for the most part, it was just me saying what I was supposed to say in order to get forgiveness. Not that I was going to do it again on purpose. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that I know what I'm supposed to do when I do something wrong, and that's what you do. Just like you're supposed to say grace every time, you eat your food. But not everybody says grace. I, however, say it anytime I eat anything. If I'm eating a candy, I will say it really quickly in my head. Just one of those things that you're just kind of set up to do, I guess, and you just never stop. You don't forget it. But, it's those things that you're doing just just because it's a habit. Relationships get like that because it's a habit. You start doing things based upon habit of what you think you're supposed to do. And when there's nothing to back it up, there's nothing behind it, where's it going to go? What does it mean? Does it mean anything? Well, let me ask you. If your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend came home and did something just because they were supposed to. Women, let's do this one right now, because you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Or men who are on the other side of the position, of the relationship. And everybody who's seen the breakup know exactly what I'm talking about. There's dishes sitting in the sink. They may be your dishes, they may be their dishes, they may be the kids' dishes, they may be friends' dishes. Whatever the case is, they're just sitting in the sink. And if it's your role in the relationship to normally do the dishes, how many of us have thought, it would be really nice if they would just do the dishes for us as something nice to do for us just because they want to? How many of you? How many? Yeah, that's what I thought. We've all been there, right? We've all been to that point where, yes, I know you did the dishes, but I don't want to have to tell you to do the dishes. I want you to want to do the dishes. I want you to want to do the laundry. I want you to want to take me out somewhere. I want you to want to do these nice things, right? We all know what that's like. Same thing, where we all get into this, like I said, I need to go backtrack because I went way too far into a point I forgot. But we dive into this, idea of what we're supposed to do. And I'm going back to new Christians, people that have just found, Christianity, that are just newly getting into it. And by new, I mean like it's been a couple years, it hasn't been very long. You're kind of feeling it out. And then, you get so excited and you get so into it. Well, okay, so some of us dive in head first and don't think about anything else. And we start thinking about all the rules and all of this and all of that. And we end up judging people. We end up having emotions towards things that we're not supposed to have, like as far as like anger and things of that nature go. Judgmental, things where we say we're judging based on the fruit. And that's not always true. You can't always say that when you know good and well you're not doing that. You can tell me that to my face, or you can tell me that all day till you're blue in the face. Well, I'm not the one you have to convince, so you can say whatever you want. It's what's here that matters, just as any relationship. It's what you are actually feeling that matters. It's the emotion you put behind it. It's the feeling that you put behind it. It's the love that you put behind it. You can go to church all day. You can read the Bible all day. You can go and say, hey, to every person that you meet, be kind and say hello and give $1 here and a couple dollars there and tithe all you want. But if you don't take what you've learned in here and put your heart into it and actually go out and practice it, it doesn't mean a thing. This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna die, okay? Because it's the nature of life, unless it's the rapture. So you die or it's the rapture. And it's time to meet the Maker, and you're at the gates. Oh yeah, you'll get to the gates. Sure will. Grandma had a dream when her heart stopped before this, months before, that she actually walked right past the gates. She got there, walked right past them. Luckily, she came back to life with the lovely paramedic who brought her back after 20 minutes, I think it was. Maybe it was longer, I don't remember. But anyway, walked right past them. She saw them. They were there. Yeah, you'll get to the gates. But is he going to let you in? Why would he let you in if you never let him in? Honestly, what's the point of him letting you in when you never, ever gave any of your time to know him? Why would you go into a relationship with someone that you don't even know? You're going to go in and get catfished. Plain and simple. The biggest misconception about this whole idea, God and the devil and life and heaven and hell and rapture and everything, is that as long as you're good, you'll go to heaven. As long as you do good things towards people and you do the right thing, you'll go to heaven. That's what everybody thinks. But what if I told you that when you got to heaven and you were at the gates and you were standing next to Hitler, and you're right behind him, God opens his book. Oh, Hitler's name is there. You may go in. Johnny? Susan? I don't see your names. I don't think it's misspelled. I'm pretty sure I don't see it. Cast off. What would you say? How could Hitler get into heaven, but I can't? The first thing you need to know is we don't know everybody's heart. We just know what we see. We don't know what happened to Hitler after all of that. He could have devoted everything over to God. He could have seen the error of his ways and had a brush with the scariest, picture he'd ever seen. And that was all it did. That's all it took. And there he goes, right into heaven, right through the gates. Meanwhile, you're kind of lost trying to figure out what you're going to do. Well, what do I do now? And now what? And how do I get in there? And it's too late. See, what the Bible teaches us, when you want to read it, is that he forgives. He forgives, and he makes all things new. And we are nobody to judge. I mean, Hitler could go to heaven, Hitler could go to hell. I have no idea, because I'm not the creator. I am not the one who has to accept the forgiveness. It's not me. It's him. But think of this. Think of this. If after everything Hitler did, and all it took is him giving himself over to God, surrendering all of his wrongdoings, all of his everything, his worries, his cares, his sins, everything, surrendering it all over, and he can make it into heaven because he decided to give himself that relationship that he was putting off, then you can make it. But by doing good things and not making that relationship with Jesus, and not staying true to that relationship, putting your whole heart and soul into it, it's not going to get you through those gates, people. And if you don't believe me, listen, don't take my word for it. That's okay. I don't need you to take my word for it. But if you want the answer, go get it. Go get it. That's all I'm saying. Like I said before, I am here to share my story, to share our story, to be whatever I can be to whoever needs it, in his likeness, in his word, in his love, in his mercy, in his grace. That's what I'm here for. That's what your pastor, your preacher, your bishops, that's what they're here for. They're not here to save you. That's your job. They're not here to give you that relationship. That's your job. He's just waiting for you. Open arms. Complete and utter open arms. For you. For me. For you. For you. For you. For you. For all of you. And, it's a reality that I think nobody is willing to face. Child molesters, rapists, murderers, serial killers, they shouldn't have the right to go to heaven. Yeah, they've done some pretty awful things on earth. For sure. For sure. But did you know that lie you told yesterday was no better than one of their convictions? That food that I took from the movie theater, no better. No better. No better. This day and age, talk about different relationships between men and men, women and women, so on and so on. Many of us believe that it's a sin. Well, guess what? Their no sin is better than your sin. Their sin is no better than your sin. Their sin is no better than mine. Their sin is no better than that murderer, that thief, that whatever. We are all in the same bunch, because nothing is worse than the others. It's just the way it is. We all have to answer for ourselves. We all have to make the effort to become one with him. It's just the way it is. And people have different religions. They've got, different ideas of, things. Listen, I'm only here to tell you facts. Okay? Facts about my life. Facts about how God has come into my life and turned it upside down to me, what was always the right side up. I am here to tell you my testimony. And my testimony is the fact that I have gone through this life with what I thought love could be, what I thought love was. I have been able to go through awful relationships. I don't mean with just men, I mean with family, with friends. And I look at them, I look at these relationships I have, specifically one with my best friend. Well, actually two of them. We've gone through so many ups and downs. We're sisters. Sisters fight like crazy. But I've watched her grow in so many ways. And, we've said things to each other that we probably shouldn't have said. Maybe not as bad as some situations. And same for my other friend. I mean, we had moments where things were just not, the way friends should be to each other. But we moved on and we got past it. And there have been many things that have happened to me in my relationships in all kinds of different ways that I could sit here and I could say, nah, it's not worth it. Move on, move along, which there have been some that I have, because it was more along the lines of, it was making my life a way that I couldn't get out of. Very few of those, very few. I've forgiven and moved on, for sure. But at the time, those were not, it just wasn't, it wasn't something that was good for my life. But these other ones, I look at them and I think, wow, I can forgive them for things that they've done, forgive myself for, anything that I may have done, and it's been so long I wouldn't remember anyway. But I can do that. I can take that and say, wow, if I can do that in these relationships, then I can only imagine what he's going to forgive me for. I can only imagine the things that I've done. Okay. In my life, the sins that I have done, I mean, may not seem as bad to some compared to what others have done. I've tried to live my life as good as I can. But it's still there, and I still see it, and I can still understand what I did, and I think to myself, how he took lashes, he took in nails, thorns, he took beatings, and still hung there for us and waited and trust that God was going to do his job. He was going to do what he sent him here to do. He was going to take care of it. And then he ascended. He left his mark for all of us. He came here in the flesh. Now think about this. Just take a minute. for me. And think of what God in all his glory could do, in all his powerful, just think about this, okay? Think of it. He is the Almighty, the creator of everything. For those of you who believe in this, okay, stick with me here. Everything created, absolutely everything on this earth by one means or another. He could have done so many different things in so many different ways. He could have, he could have just, decided not to send everybody to hell. He could have decided, well, there is no sin. We're all just going to have a party and hang out, He could have decided, I don't want any of these people. Throw us all off the face of the earth, send us to hell, and recreate again if he wanted to. He could do so many things because he is the Almighty. He is all powerful. But instead, he came here in the flesh. See, I want you guys to understand, and in ways that I think people need to. I feel like people need examples of, things so that they can understand. A lot of us learn by doing, a lot of us do learn by seeing or reading or whatever, all kinds of different ways. And I think that for us to understand and grasp what he did for us, the only way to do it was to come here in the flesh. And I get really emotional when I think of it. When I speak about it, I tend to shake a little bit. I don't know if that's, the Holy Ghost, or I don't know what it is, but it's really, it's different. I don't know. It's amazing. It feels good is what I mean. But you think of it, you think of it this way. He could have not given us free will and made us all the same and us all think the same way, so everything went his way. There are so many ways he could have done things. But he came here in the flesh because as we are in the flesh, we understand what pain feels like, and we understand the emotion of it, and we connect with things that way. Many people had a hard time believing in God because they'd never seen him. Because, they've only heard. Moses in the burning bush. How do you not believe after that? Really. It's the big burning bush talking to you, telling you what to do. This, let's be real. That is your confirmation. Not all of us get that in that way. In the same way that Moses did, firsthand. So instead, to let us know that everything will be new again. To let us know that he loves us so unconditionally, that he sent himself here in the form of a man, a little boy, a little carpenter, a little baby, to be born to a virgin, just to grow up, to tell the people that he is love, to tell the people just exactly why he's coming, why he's here, what his purpose is. A lot of people get confused between, Jesus and God, and are they the same? Are they one? Are they two different things because he's the Son of God? Just as your children are part of you, it is the same in the fact that he put himself in his Son, in the human flesh, to come here for us, to show us, this is how much I love you. This is how much I want you to know that I want you back with me, that I need you to be mine. And he lived a life. He lived a normal life, but always knowing what his destiny would be, and still knowing what his destiny would be. Tempted in the desert, giving him multitudes of opportunity just to go against God. He still said no, knowing that that Satan would save him from the beating that he was about to endure, the torture, the death. He knew his purpose, and he still said no. You see, the relationship that I have is with the man who gave his life for me. The relationship that I have is with a man that would take a beating for me. Is a man that would take the same lashing for everyone else. And in that, knowing he would do it for anyone just like he would do it for me, I still feel like I'm special. And it takes an enormous heart to be able to show someone that. To show that even though he would die for you, he would die for everyone else. Because just as he loves you, he loves everyone else. Regardless if we love him or not, if we believe in him or not, if we've decided to, live our life for him or not, it doesn't matter to him. Of course that's what he wants. Of course he wants you to be with him. Of course he wants you to believe. Of course he wants you to come to him. He just wants to hold you. But he holds out hope. Just as we do. That one day, you'll either, be watching this video, see someone down the street, hear somebody speak, hear a song on the radio, hopefully, hear, see it in a movie, whatever it is, that you're going to see it and you're going to recognize it. And you're going to understand just how much he gave. Just how much his life meant to all of us, not to himself. Oh, not to himself. The most selfless act to ever be given. He gave that to us. That's who my relationship is with. That's who I have chose from my life. And I know a lot of you have, questioned what my decision meant when I decided to get baptized. Many had felt like I was swearing off men and relationships and everything and marriage. That's not what I meant. I'm not looking to do that either. Because my relationship needs to build with him before it can build with anybody else. He gave me the second greatest gift that I could have ever been given in Grandma. And because of her, I have been able to do many, many things in life. But the most important one was that she was able to give me his love. She was able to show me things in ways that I don't know if anybody else will ever be able to have ever. And because of that relationship with her, I was able to recognize the relationship I needed with him, that I need with him. You know, I had always wondered what it would be like, especially when you watch the Bible series, because it's so intense and it draws you in. But I had always wondered what it would be like to touch Jesus, to be in the same room with him in the flesh, to be able to listen to him speak. You know, we've got a lot of people out here that have been, well, the best way to say it is there's a lot of speakers who have been very well, who are very good at what they do. Speech writing, giving the speeches, very articulate. I, for one, am a writer. I get very, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but nervous isn't the word, but I get kind of flustered when speaking, if you can't tell. And I use the word all the time and I hate it. But we watch these people and we're just amazed by them. Obama is a good example. I'm not anti-Obama. I'm not for Obama. I'm not anything Obama. I'm just giving it, this is an example, is that I remember when he first won during his first election, and I kept thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing. We have our first president who's not completely white. I don't want to say the first black president because everybody gives issue with that, but you know what I mean. And I just thought, wow, what an amazing day for our country, you know. And I thought back, and I was talking to Grandma, and she mentioned how she's been able to watch Martin Luther King give his speech, which is today's the 50th anniversary, and now see, you know, Obama win the presidency. It's really interesting, not in who he is or what he's doing or you know, gonna do, but to see the way that our country has come from this point, or from that point to this. It is amazing. And then you listen to his speech and you're just, wow, this is a really awesome moment, you know. I know what you non-Obama people are thinking, but what I mean is that you get these people who just come in and they just exude charisma, and the way they speak is just so amazing. And even in that, whoever it is, whoever you've heard speak, give those, you know, like Bill Clinton gives really good speeches also. But whoever it is, a celebrity, somebody that you've heard speak at, you know, different conferences or on TV or whatever it is, I can only imagine what it was like to sit and listen to him preach. Can you imagine listening to the words come straight from his mouth? It's beyond, you know, it's an awesome wonder for me. Now, not only will I get to hear that again one day, but in my 30 years of life, I had it next to me the whole time. Please don't take that as blasphemous, because that's not the way I mean it. I had a woman who embodied what he taught, who embodied his life, who embodied what what he gave. Her life meant so much in ways that is hard to describe. She wanted her life to mean something, and it's meant more than I think that she'll ever really know. But her life was for him. She made sacrifices for me. She read the Bible to me every day. She'd call me and give me verses to read, and I wouldn't read them, I'd forget. But she wrote them all down, and she left them in notepads, and I found them later. I held her hand. I've hugged her. She'd kiss my forehead. And had I known then, I wish I would have known. I really do. But I had him with me the whole time. I got to touch him. I got to feel his embrace. I got to hear the words he'd speak. I know what that sacrifice meant, because I felt it every day. And when you know that he gives you something like that, all the questions, all of the doubts, all of the, I just, it's gone in an instant. I've never had any doubt that he was real. I never had any doubt as to that my faith, wouldn't be there, that I wouldn't believe in him. But the little things are the ones that get you. The little things are the ones that detour you from giving your life completely. Because it's not ours. It's not our life. It's never been ours. It's always been his. It's just, we just decide what to do with it. Just as Jesus, we all came here under him. We are all in his likeness. He sent us all here the same way. Well, with the same purpose. To be able to guide others. Not just for me to tell our story, but to tell his. And I don't mean a fairy tale, and I don't mean out of just some, fictional book. Nope. I mean the truth. We are here to deliver his truth. There's so much more that I have to talk about this topic. I'm going on 2 hours now. I like to talk. Sorry. But I want to obviously have more for the next few shows. But like I said, the point of everything is that we as Christians are not here to tear anybody down. We're not here to tell you that you're doing wrong, although that may come up here and there. Like I said, if you're a Christian, this is what I have found for myself and those around me. Don't push anything on anyone. They've got a question, answer it. They're not going to like your answers most of the time, but that doesn't mean that you don't give it. If they don't like it, there's no point in arguing with them. What you've given is the truth. The truth will always win out. You plant the seed and he will water it. And that's all you can do. Pray for them and let him work. You can't save everyone. You can't save anyone but yourself. That's your job and yours alone. I want to, this ministry, this devotional is about showing everyone who we are, what we're actually about. We are not the stereotypes that society has put on us as a religious group, because that's not what we are. You ask any Christian, they will tell you they're not religious. We have a relationship, and that's all that matters to us. Of course, we want you to have a relationship. As happy as I am, as excited in my life that I am, there's no part of me that feels anybody shouldn't have this happiness. I mean, it's a travesty to me if you don't. And, the world has come to a really different type of place. I always feel like I should have been born in like 50s or 40s, back when the way I was raised mattered. That I'm not on MTV twerking, which is an awful word, and it's an awful thing. I wish people would just stop doing it. That I'm not out there showing that having a good time and partying it up and yada, yada, yada is the way to live your life. Because you look at anybody that's out there living that life, that's about that life, most don't know what that life is about. And they don't know where it ends up. So, my point being, sorry, got off track there, is, I would hope that anyone who comes across a question that they're looking for an answer, like I said, go to your Bible. I can tell you all the things in the world. I can give you all of my knowledge, but I don't know that whole thing back and forth. I don't know what, I know what I've read, and I know what I've experienced, and I know what I've gone through. But my grandma, like I said before, she's read this Bible front and back, cover to cover. Well, not this one specifically. This was hers, but her other one, cover to cover. I don't know how many times. A lot. I'm gonna say 30, because I think that's what she told me before. Not that she was keeping count, but And every single time that she read it, there was something new that she didn't know before. He'd always show her something different. And so, just when you think you know it all, there's always something more. We were not meant to know everything. Ask Eve. Okay. And I, for one, I am the peaceful type Christian. I had a lot of anger and was very violent before. I had a violent temper. Usually not on someone else, unless it's my brother. Sorry. But, I used to hit the walls and stuff. I was a very angry teenager. Sorry, Grandma. But I, don't know, I forgot where that was going. Anyway, point being is, there's a lot of things that you're not going to know. There's a lot of things that are going to come up, and you don't have to suffer through it. He suffered for us. Let him have it. No one can take the suffering and the beating like he can. He's proven that. He was beat, he hung on the cross, he died, and he rose again. Show me someone else that's done that. Show me. Anyway, but like I said, just understand that we are not about what you've seen. Given half a minute for us to explain who we are, not even that. At times, I don't even want to explain who I am. Just watch my life. Watch where I've come from. Watch me go where I'm going. Let my life be an example as to who we actually are. And I would welcome other Christians to do the same. You want people to believe in Jesus, then be Jesus-like. You're not perfect. I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, but you have to understand that not everybody's going to find a church that they're going to go to. Sometimes we are the only church he has, and we need to be that example. We're going to fall, but that's part of it. It's okay to fall. You know he's there waiting for you. Open up your heart and he'll show you where you went wrong every single time. Before we end, I want to welcome, first and foremost, it's late. He's probably not watching now because he's in Miami, but the friend that I talked about last week, he is going to be joining Dee's Devotionals. It will be Tuesday nights at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. He is from Miami, and so he will be giving his take. I got to tell you guys, you know, the discussions he and I have been very, very much empowering for me, even though I didn't know at first. You know, they rocked my life, never even knowing that they would have a purpose in it. I will encourage you guys to tune in. We will save the videos and everything. If you're not able to, 5 o'clock our time, I know, is a little difficult, you know, leaving work and everything. But if you're at work and you still want to watch, I mean, you could just listen, really. Think about it. I mean, I don't know if anybody will be watching you at work, or that, you know, you're not. Whatever the case is, just turn us on, stick your headphone in, and we'll get you through it. He'll get you through it. Okay, well, so first, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, join me in welcoming Jose Martinez to Dee's Devotionals. I have big plans for this, and I'm hoping that it takes off like a rocket. I'm praying it does. It is all for the glory of God. So we are here to bring the see, this is why I hate remembering or trying to remember. We are here to bring his glory to everybody. I'm bringing our story, I keep doing that with my hands, our story, and you know, together we are all here to bring his. I'm hoping to get this even on a larger scale. Taking it a little slow right now. I want to see how it goes, but please, everyone, I encourage you to tell your friends to join in with us. And you know, what's it gonna hurt? You want to turn it off? Go ahead, just join in for a little while, see what we're talking about. Who knows, maybe it'll, you know, touch on your life somehow. And you know, if you don't need it right now, maybe, you know, in a couple months you'll remember it and think, oh wow, that's why I was watching that day. Maybe I should tell a friend. Okay. News on the book. It's not coming along because I've had other stuff going on. It's what I do. I'm sorry. I know. I need to get it out. It is my priority right after this. That's about it. Okay. So I'm going to end with a prayer, and then immediately following, actually, I think I can do it right now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the link on 3 places. I'm going to share the link on Facebook, on Ustream, and I believe on Twitter. Give me just 2 seconds because I'm not exactly sure how to do this. I need to refresh my YouTube station. Yeah. Wait a minute. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, maybe it's not public yet because I didn't upload it. Anyway, okay. Well, here we go. Don't leave me yet. Don't leave me yet. By the way, this is the first time that I am watching it all the way through, and oh goodness, I can't find where is it private? I don't understand. I'm a little lost. Okay. Anyway, don't leave the channel. what I'm going to do is right as soon as I'm done with the, as soon as we're done praying, we're going to sign off. I am going to post it, and it'll go on, actually, yeah, I don't think it'll show up here. So go to my Facebook. It's listed in my about, or the info on my page. It's Dee's Devotional. If you're friends of mine, just go to my page right there and you'll see it. And I will be, let's see, I will be posting it on Twitter also. So any way you can find it, give me 5 minutes from here, and I will get it uploaded, and well, it's already uploaded. I'll get it made public and sent out to everybody. I please encourage you to share the video with your friends. It was an amazing experience for me. I can't, nothing I will ever be able to say will tell you guys the feeling that I felt. But this is my introduction to it, and so I would love for you all to be able to watch it with an open heart and open mind, and understand that when I came to the decision, it was no different than me walking into that water, making the same decision at that same moment. I have, in fact, accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and it was the absolute most amazing, most important decision I've ever made. In that moment, I knew that I'd see Grandma again, and knowing that was all I needed, because she led me there, and none of this, nothing that I'm going to accomplish would have been without her. So I just will go ahead and bow our heads and pray, and then we will see you guys next week, same time, 8 o'clock, no, 7 o'clock, sorry, I forgot, 7 standard, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. All right. Lord, I come to you today, and this is always my awkward moment, but I come to you today in hopes that you'll reach more than just the people that watch tonight. That through me, through them, we'll be able to reach many, many more. That they open their hearts to you. That they find the love that I have found, that you have given to me. That you bless their lives, Lord. Touch the ones who don't understand. The ones who are going through a multitude of situations that they just can't handle. Let them know that you are there, Lord. You forgave us of our sins. You died on the cross for us. You gave us the love that nobody else can give. I pray that everybody be able to feel that love, that they search for that love. And blessed be to everyone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, everyone. I'm sorry we went on 2 hours and 30 minutes, but I had a lot to say, and it was good, right? I hope so. Like I said, I hope it speaks to you, and at least, if not something specific that went to you, I hope it, you find that it helps someone else. Again, please share us. This is not for me. This is not for anyone else who will be on the channel. This is all for him. We do this for him and all of you, in hopes that you guys will find the eternal life that we know that we're going to have. And to be in his love for that long. Eternally. Forever. All right, everyone. I will see you guys next week, same time. Remember to tune in on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern time for Jose. And I can't wait to see his message. I'm so excited for it. I don't even know what it is yet. But join me in about 5 minutes. We'll make it 9:30. And in watching the baptism video for the first time. All right, I can't wait to see you guys again next week. And mahalo for showing up, for viewing, and for being with us every week. And remember, God loves you all in all that you are. All right, we'll see you guys next week.